Right there, we have 4 bowls of chicken leg quarters. Got my German Shepherd Lobo over there. He loves playing with the stuff. Over here we got the crew. Everybody's waiting to eat. That's Kurgan, my Blue Bay Shepherd on the far right. My Renascence Bulldog Magi there. On the far left we got Lycan Shepherd Lulu. And the 2 other pups back there with the green and the stars and stripes collars are my 9-month-old Lycan Shepherds, Ka-bar and Puukko. You can see here that Ka-bar is almost as big as Kurgan. If you'll hold on a minute, I'm going to distribute this around the yard, and then we're going to do a pack feeding, a peck bong is my point. I like to do these because they help me develop and maintain a healthy pack hierarchy amongst the dogs, which then translates to how they communicate with other dogs off leash and prevents things like fights here at the house amongst them. I find when you let the dogs establish that kind of thing on their own, that they are a lot happier for it and are a lot more well adjusted. One moment and we'll get this spread around the yard. All right, we got that distributed around the yard. Lobo's out here already starting, as you can see. For those who will ask, well, how come Lobo's out eating his food first while the other ones are in there waiting? Well, Lobo's the oldest dog here, and at my house age still has its privileges. Let's let the Yahoos out and let the feeding commence. You guys ready? Again, these pack feedings develop and maintain a healthy pack hierarchy amongst the dogs. They teach them good canine problem solving skills, which again translates to their off-leash encounters. In my videos, I have hundreds of videos on the channel showing how well they do with strange dogs off leash, both aggressive and friendly. And this is Lobo. Right there is my 11-month-old Lycan Shepherd Ka-bar. As I always discuss in my videos, I like to pet and handle the dogs while they're eating. Teaches them not to be food aggressive, which is especially important if you have children. My girl Lulu. Puukko there, and this is Ka-bar. Mr. Kurgan. Some of the dogs like Puukko and Ka-bar are still blowing their winter coats. They're just about finished. Their undercoats are extremely dense and it takes quite a bit to brush them out. They only let me work on them for about 10 minutes a piece or so, and they've had enough. See, Puukko is huge. Basically almost as big as his dad now. 11 months. Tall wise anyways. Got Miss Magi. Never pretty watching a bulldog eat. She's one of the dogs on those food aggression videos I have with the two Bulldog puppies, both her and Wrecker. And you can see that the methods I used worked very well. They're both extremely well adjusted and great around food now. And that's Ka-bar up there. Miss Lulu, who we bred over the last couple weeks. She's out of heat now, and hopefully that breeding took. She's eating like a horse, and already looks a little thicker, so signs are good that it did. Oh yeah, buddy. Mr. Ka-bar coming over to tell me thanks. And now Kurgan's coming over to tell me thanks for the food too. They like to do that. Oh, thank you, buddy. Again, these pack feedings help develop and maintain a healthy pack hierarchy amongst my dogs. Teaches them good problem-solving skills. It lets them establish the pecking order between them, which in turn makes for a more cohesive unit amongst the dogs. You know, often people try to establish that amongst their groups of dogs, and that often creates a lot of conflict. We spend so much time trying to teach our dogs how to understand us, but not enough time trying to understand what our dogs are trying to tell us and communicate to each other. It's by doing this that I've created well-socialized dogs that do well in a variety of situations, even in stressful, high-conflict situations. I have numerous videos on the channel showing that, just how well they respond to high conflict with other dogs, and how well they're able to reach a resolution and blow that off without it degenerating into a fight. Oh, thank you, buddy. He wants to tell me thanks. I have hundreds of videos on the channel showing just how this does translate well. You can find those in my Art of Canine Socialization playlist. One thing I hate about the summer is you start getting flies. Just a fact of life here, living where I live. You can see Kurgan is pretty intelligent. He amassed a pile of leg quarters here on his grate. Now that the pieces are starting to get a little more scarce is where we start to see some of the canine interaction and communication. Everybody sees that Kurgan's got some extra ones over there, and they're checking everything out. Let's watch what happens. You see that little subtle raise of the lip there that he did to Ka-bar? That was Kurgan just giving him a little signal telling him that that's his food and he can't have it. Now Lulu is here trying to get me to start petting her to distract Kurgan. Better watch out, buddy. She's gonna move in. Now what Kurgan did was he let Lulu have that piece. He grabbed the piece he wanted and let her have that one. Ka-bar's like, Mom, I kind of like that. He's telling him no. Again, you see with the subtle raise of the lips and the slight rumble, that was all it took. And again, it's because I do these sort of things that I'm able to have 4 intact males and 2 females that are also intact, all in a big group eating together. It is a myth that you can't have intact males together. And neutering your male doesn't make them any more social. It just deprives them of healthy hormones that they need that are for more than just sex. Neutered male dogs don't have high testosterone, and therefore they lose their muscle tone. They have trouble with getting fat and putting on weight, and it shortens their lives. You know, you'll often hear the opposite from some vets, but those that say that don't know what they're talking about. I can show you several links from several vets. Matter of fact, maybe I'll provide one in the video description below that will tell you some of the dangers of spay and neuter and how depriving your dogs of those natural hormones can open them up to a lifetime of health consequences and also shorten their lives. You know, for example, women who have hysterectomies, which is basically the same thing as spaying your dog, removing the uterus, they have to undergo hormone therapy for the rest of their life to lead happy, healthy lives. We don't do that for the dogs that we spay and neuter. They don't get those hormones provided for them. And, you know, for example, males that don't have testosterone suffer from depression and all kinds of other issues. You know, people don't take into account that dogs are often affected the same way by these surgeries. You know, people need to remember that a lot of veterinarians are just like car mechanics. You know, they make a lot of money off of spay and neuter surgeries. And that's one of the reasons why some of them promote it so hard. Again, you can see Kurgan's eating that piece of meat. He's got another neutered male Ka-bar coming in, getting close. There's no fights. Magi, she's beautiful. Well, there you have it. That was about 24 leg quarters between 6 dogs, and they all went pretty quick. Now, this will not be the only food they receive today. They will all get some organ meat, and I'll give them some sweet peppers also. I don't do the organ meat in these group feedings because I'll have a couple of dogs like Miss Lulu here that'll go through and scarf that all up right away and not let the other dogs get it. So I prefer to use stuff like that and just give it to them individually so I can make sure everybody's getting the amount they need. If you'd like to learn more about a raw diet and how to feed it, I provided plenty of links in the video description below. Some are from Dr. Ian Billinghurst, the creator of the BARF diet. BARF is an acronym for biologically appropriate raw foods. A couple other raw diets that are also out there that I recommend over feeding kibble are the RMB diet, which stands for raw meaty bones, and the prey model diet. You don't have to worry about things like bones with dogs as long as the bones are raw. It's cooked bones that are so dangerous. Cooking the bone changes the consistency of the bone and makes it indigestible and prone to both obstructions and perforations of the bowel. Raw bones don't do that. Again, nobody's cooking for dogs in the wild. 36% of dogs carry salmonella as a natural part of their gut flora, and they just don't have to worry about that sort of stuff. They have stronger digestive juices and a shorter G-tract than we do, making them biologically designed to handle and deal with that kind of stuff. Again, nobody's cooking for them in the wild. It would make absolutely no sense for canines to not be able to deal with raw food bacteria. You know, don't let anybody tell you that dogs have evolved to the point where they aren't able to deal with and process those foods. That's a joke. Commercial dog food's only been around for about 100 years. Evolution doesn't take place in that short a time scale. Before that, most people were feeding their dogs raw. Well, there you go. We've got a yard full of happy dogs that are waiting to get taken out and exercised a little bit later on tonight. That's all. Bye.